order.
Oh. There's background.
It's got no order.
Okay, if I may, just to get us through it, we have a meeting at 12 with the county trustees, and this is coincidence with the county highway department, who wants to talk about getting our money, which was why we sent you the update in the legislation. The two things that we need to talk about immediately are budgeting, and Sharon and Brandon have been to all the meetings. I've read all the legislation. We are totally at a loss as to what we're supposed to be doing, except we know, the only thing we know for certain is we have to budget every cent we have in the bank. Because if we don't, the HB 1461 we sent you, and it should be highlighted in there, that there is a drop dead amount that if we have, after we get through budgeting, that we have in the bank, the county highway will automatically take 30% of that. And there's no appeal, nothing.
Question.
Yes,
Can you budget a rainy day fund or?
it includes the rainy day fund.
Includes.
So you might remember how many years ago we had to do that CIP, which stands for Capital Improvement Plan.
Right.
Remember we had it do, and then that went away. So it's gonna be the same kind of form. We haven't received it yet. I have the old form, so I've been able to show Brandon, like, here's what the old form was. So I don't know why they're not just using the old form, but they literally have not given us the form yet. We've attended the, the meetings, but I don't know if it's a DLGF or State Board of Accounts, which one actually has to do the, DLGF is doing the form. So we've kind of just been looking at the old form and we're gonna go from there. But what we were told in the meeting, which was not DLGF or State Board of Accounts, it was, Coonrod and then the town ITA lawyer. And they're basically saying, we need to come up with all the projects that we're gonna do. And we're gonna spend all of our money so that we can show we have projects and this is what the money's for.
I see most of these went into effect in June and July, so.
And
They
that,
gave us a lot of warning, didn't they?
Yeah,
and that brings us to the second one, which is SB 1, which revamps totally our county option income tax. And we don't know what date that goes into effect, but it's hit. The thing is they've not released the funding formula for that yet at all.
But it's basically taking all of it.
It's gonna take, like, we don't know how much. We currently have our own rate that we set every year. Or we don't set it, but we ask for it and it comes as an automatic dispersal from the state. And the county got back control of a lot of their money, that they had to get money, and then they gave like solid waste a piece of it. Police, fire, communications, piece of it, etc. They've all got their own county option income tax rate now. And the county's gonna get a flat rate for them. And of that, then we will, county trustees total and the county library of the county tax rate and income tax, we will get 0.02 of that amount. 0.02, 200ths of what they get divided among all 11 townships and the county library. And we don't know when it goes into effect. Brandon thought it went into effect in 2 years. Sharon and I read the legislation, we think it goes into effect next year.
Yeah, I thought it did.
So not only are they gonna take our surplus if we don't budget every cent, they're gonna whack our income tax that we fund township government out of, which is all of the community groups. And
everything.
everything.
So
That
to
we
break
do,
it down, that LIT that we get, what used to be called COIT, County Option Income Tax, COIT, is now called LIT, LIT. And so what I have done what they did was they made us take the LIT and it could only be used in township fund, not township assistance, like they told us 2 years ago,
Yeah.
I think 2 or 3 years ago, that we could only use it for township. So that was okay. We moved we did it 80-20 anyway, 80% township, 20% township assistance. So it wasn't a big deal. I just moved that 20% back to township and then moved the general property tax, that 20% to township assistance. Do you know what I mean? I just kind of moved the money around, so it's no problem. But we're pretty much fund township general with this LIT. Like most of our property taxes fund township assistance. So when they take LIT away, that's the money that we use to fund township general.
Okay, so wait, so township general would be rent, salaries.
no, yeah, salaries for me, salaries for Sharon, salaries for Brandon, salaries for you.
Some salaries, not all.
Right, so we split, so it's broken down into township fund, welfare administration, and direct assistance. So if you kind of look at it, it's gonna kind of look like 3 funds. And so you can't mess with direct assistance, which is quarterly, what they used to call quarterly. And then the welfare administration will still be funded by general property taxes, and that's caseworker pay. And then usually I split everything 50-50, which is what your question is. So utilities that come in for our properties, anything like that, I usually split township, welfare administration 50-50.
But at some point,
If
that
that answers.
ability may go away, but we don't know what 0.02 is going to be. We haven't a clue. We don't know. Marty Hawk said, oh, you're gonna be flush in cash because this new formula is gonna give the county more money than we've ever had. Everyone else for the county said, we're really gonna be strapped. I mean, nobody knows because this whole Senate Bill 1 is a product that was completely taken out of Senate Bill 1. It was completely rewritten. I called and spoke to Matt Pierce at length and did an email exchange with Shelley. Because I asked specifically, is this an attempt to get rid of townships? And Senate Bill 1, SB 1, was gutted in the Senate in committee. Which it was essentially this, and they put in there some minor changes in bonding, like the school system could not bond in an off election year countywide when it was a city election. You may not have known it, you were in the city, but we had to go in and vote only on the school bonding issue.
Oh, interesting.
And they said, no more of that crap, because all over the state, bonds went through because nobody knew.
Right.
And then they had some minor adjustments in property tax replacements. That that was what came out of the Senate. The House had a similar bill and it got gutted in the House. And they were just gonna accept the Senate version. Beckwith, the lieutenant governor,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah,
he mobilized his former radio audience, which was right-wing evangelicals. 400 of them descended on the House, got on the floor while they were in session, and literally physically intimidated the members. And in session, not in committee, but in the floor, they inserted the original Senate language, which was this craziness that we've got that never went through the hearings at the Senate, never went through the hearings at the House. And they put it all back in without any readings anywhere.
I've never seen Debbie Driscoll, is she the president of the ITA? I've never seen her like this, like so she's, how would you describe her? I mean, she's just like, she
Traumatized.
traumatized. She
Yeah.
can't believe what
He's
happened.
usually very collected.
Yeah, and she's just, you know, she's like at a loss, shaking her head that this went through the way it did and the wording is the way it is. I mean, I've never seen her like this.
Was this made public? I don't remember
No,
any of this.
the bill was when it went through. The bill was when it went through, but it did not get any hearings, so there was no chance. Deb tried to talk to people. It went through the House, so it had to go back to the Senate. Because it was different from what came out of the Senate. And Deb tried to lobby the Senate, because we got a lot of friends there.
And she's always been able to lobby them.
And she was told, you just have to accept the fact
Oh,
that your power is waning.
Ugh.
And that's almost a direct quote from what she said. And that there's nothing we can do for you because Beckwith's people went to the Senate when it was there. The same thing,
This-
just,
Like under the table.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
and it was the same thing. And Ron, who can't stand Beckwith, was further intimidated because 400 crazy people showed up chanting and, you know. He sees that, and he sees the whole state and doesn't realize that shit, there's 3,000 elected township officials. And so we didn't get a chance to mobilize or anything. They did have a township mobilization day, but there was very little advance notice.
But
And-
they want to get rid of townships. And
Well,
they,
this
they want
certainly
smaller
seems to
ones
me
too.
like a step in that
But
direction.
instead of a straight up vote,
Yeah,
it's strangling us, but not having a date for knowing when our budget.
It's like they're doing things backwards. They're telling us, here's your deadlines, but we haven't got the forms to you. So we have to do the CIP and it's due by when?
9:30, September 30th.
September 30th, and they haven't even given us the form yet. That capital improvement plan is due, and if we do not turn it in, they will not approve our budget
Or levy.
or our levy,
Yeah.
one or the other. I mean, it's very strict. That, I mean, they kept stressing the September 30th date, and if we don't get it done, there's a lot of repercussions, but they haven't even given us the form yet.
Can you make one on the old form?
That's
to
what,
have it ready?
that's what we're doing. That's
Yeah.
what, the three, you know, I talked to Dan and, you know, that's all we can do is we wanna be ready. Because September 30th is gonna be here like, and I think you have to approve it. So we have to have it ready for the board meetings,
uh-huh.
for the budget meetings.
And have we set those yet? I think we
Yes, I
have.
did. I said those
So I
to.
agree with you, Sharon. It sounds to me like it's the cart before the horse.
It is.
But the other end of all of this is Senate Bill 1 completely restructures the entire property tax regime in the state of Indiana for
And
everyone.
nobody voted on it.
So we don't know how, that's the one where the county had to put the jail off.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
because it rewrote funding,
yeah.
and they're all talking about the school system, talking about over the next 5 years, they're gonna lose $28 million.
But taxpayers don't know. Do you think the taxpayers want our money?
Wait. But we don't know what we're gonna lose out of that restructuring on the funds that we have left. That we got property tax for township assistance, but we don't even know how much that got cut. Because they haven't given us that formula yet. They just told Sharon, assume you're gonna get 4% or something like last year's budget. But it's not based on this, it's based on last year's behavior. So what we give you at the budget hearing, and that's why I needed to tell you, it's just all gonna be make-believe.
Mhm.
So how can Marty Hawk say that we're gonna be flushing money? Is that the Trump way?
She was talking and reading the literature coming from the lobby group that wrote what was inserted back into the legislation. And because I was reading it, and I told Brandon, it sounds like this is written by Alec, the right-wing lobby group. And it turned out it wasn't. It was written by another subsidiary of Alec, or a cohort. So Sharon's had to send out her letters to the groups.
Well, haven't yet. We're doing that this week. I was waiting until after this meeting.
We're sending out the letters to the groups saying, go ahead and submit a letter of request, but don't count on showing up for the meeting because we have no idea whether we're gonna have any money.
That just is crazy.
Yeah, it's
It
crazy.
is totally crazy.
And, but I sent an email out Monday to the Township Association saying, is there any news on any of this funding? And I didn't get a response, and Deb's a good friend of mine, she's the director and the lobbyist. She's a good friend of mine, and that means that she's just traumatized.
When I messaged, the other two bigger townships to ask them if they had heard anything. And even from the county, and Bloomington Township and Van Buren both said no
But at noon,
today.
the wolves are circling, or the vultures are circling. The county highways already, we're gonna meet with you about the money you're gonna turn over. And the thing is, the money we turn over is supposed to be spent in Perry Township. And we have a say-so over what project. Now, the thing is, if we turn something over, it'd be 300,000, 400,000. That's nothing in a road project.
Uh-huh.
So I've been telling Brandon, he's gonna be our superintendent on top of everything else of county highway projects. The only thing you can get for $200,000 is trash pickup, and that, we need it. You know, but the county highways, I go with it. Sharon went to a meeting and came up with, out of it with, if we're gonna be part of it, anything the county does, we also need to have a liability coverage waiver.
The lawyer is the one that brought it up, and I hadn't even thought of it.
Because we're gonna be part of the contract situation. And it just,
The meeting.
it's a whole new level of, and the law specifies we will be a partner in that operation, whether we want to or
No
not.
choice.
So we'll have to have a memorandum of understanding
That
and
you approve.
that you approve. So, you know, we have to go through the paperwork. But the interesting thing that I hadn't even thought of was this was the Indiana Township Association lawyer. And he was at the meeting. You didn't go to that meeting though. Okay. And one of the things he brought up was liability. Because if we're gonna be a part of it, the township, and an accident happened, I mean, I hadn't even thought, because he's a lawyer, he's gonna think of that.
Sure.
And, you know, we'll have to make sure that we're worded that we're not liable. I mean, there's a whole nother level of things that we wouldn't even have thought of, liability.
So that's our news. Meanwhile, we're spending money. Because we have to draw our surplus down. We have ordered a cow and a pig every 3 months,
Good.
just automatic deliveries. Currently,
Which we need.
$2.79 is the price of beef, and a hog, we haven't got a price, but, so you'll see bigger amounts of that. This project out here, we've given you the final price, but there's a add-on to it
Which I think he gave them.
that Brandon sent to you. There's a rupture in the sidewalks,
Right, yeah.
and water can seep down into it and then just effectively bypass everything they're doing. They didn't find that until they got out there and started working.
That was a good find.
Then, the other part of that is
Yes.
with
It was
a
dangerous.
rupture in the sidewalk, freeze and thaw, it's just gonna open it up, and I didn't wanna approve a 20% overrun without bringing it to you, and it just happened that we're having this meeting, and I just had to call a meeting for it. Yeah.
Should you think about making a fence at the other end of our property because of that storage unit? And we don't want
talked
people
about that.
William got a commitment that they would,
that they would.
They would.
and yeah, and I honestly don't really believe 100% that project's gonna get underway. That might have been one of those speculative things to, we've got an approval to build a 4-story
There's certainly
structure.
been nothing recently about it.
Well, the thing is, as I was driving in this morning, the old RCA lot, I just noticed it and I drive it every day. There's a big sign of like what's coming across from Community Kitchen. And it looks like it's storage units. I didn't notice it until I was passing.
That's big, that's the big.
And I thought, well, it almost
Because
looked
you
like,
get income without any liability, really.
this is, I mean, I'm really honest because I believe.
Like the one they're gonna build.
I can't imagine a 4-story storage building on property that valuable would be, you could make it profitable. But having an approval for a 4-story building on that property
Uh-huh. Yeah.
could be profitable.
So maybe we should go ahead and make our own fence and just, if you need
Whatever.
projects.
Whatever shows
If you
up.
want, why, we can add that also, and, I mean, because that's gonna eat it. What we've got hard is the architect has looked at this in this building inside and out about expanding it. We don't have drawings, but he's got verbal estimates that he's going to affix it.
To go up.
To go up and to go out, just a whole range. That, we haven't had time, we've been talking to him for a year, but he doesn't have drawings. He has site plans of this. And so he's going to give us something a little bit more firm than just us guessing about costs there. Then what else? We got other things that we're working on. Vehicle. If we get a vehicle, we're gonna throw that in there, and that'll require expanding the garage on the other side, because my big hesitancy is if we get a vehicle, where do we put it?
Right.
Because this is just prime real estate here for losing the catastrophic converter. It's, and we have to have a place to lock it up, and I don't wanna take it home because my yard's filling up,
So the vehicle would be for deliveries and
picking up foods
so you
and.
need like a truck or something.
Yeah, and a truck and, yeah, and the field work, Brandon goes out looking at lots. Derek goes out and picks up supplies, et cetera,
It'd be for the food pantry.
and the food pantry makes one.
Well, I don't know if it necessarily should be a truck, maybe an
A
enclosed
step
van
van.
type thing.
Yeah,
van.
at least. We'll tie it up, we've talked about it before we make a move on it, but we're
Yeah,
putting it in there because the vehicle's gonna be 60,000.
oh, at least, yeah.
And that's a new one, you can get a certified used one for 45, but somewhere in there, so we can tie it up. And that's what we gotta do.
Well, and I think on something like that, the sooner is
And, yeah,
better than later, because it's not gonna get any cheaper.
Yeah,
Before we leave the money, the other thing is, what happened? Sharon said, we had to do that capital improvements plan years ago. Certain townships around the state have rat holed tremendous amounts of money. I'm not gonna lie about it,
millions.
millions. We're going to eventually build a fire station, or we're gonna buy equipment. And equipment is, you just figure $1 million a truck, but they haven't done it. And they've been told, spend this money, spend this money. We've been told, spend our money or at least dedicate.
so are these townships here or elsewhere?
Like
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis.
But that rainy day fund has been set up to let you set that money aside, and we could use it on salaries or anything, but when they went in on Senate Bill 1, not 1461, like we've got 400,000 in rainy day fund. And then if we wanted to build real big, we could bond, except Senate Bill 1 puts a bunch of hoops in bonding. It's not like we used to do.
Well, it almost says we can't do it,
And
right?
it's the public now has multiple opportunities to shoot down bonding.
It's bad, the bond.
Yeah, it's not like it was. So even the people that were saving, and lots of townships were legitimately saving like us, that if we do something, we'll pay a big piece of cash and not have to bond for everything. That's not the way it works now, is you either have to have it all and just shoot it. This has no foresight. I've never
But
seen
we were
anything
reading
like
about
this.
the school system was even affected about the bond.
Mhm.
Yeah, the county has an ongoing bond, and I've always thought that was bad policy. They just roll it over, when they pay it off, they immediately cash in for more money, not for anything in particular, but bells and whistles. Pickleball courts,
Oh, yeah.
And they never specify and they just spend it. And last year they paved our road. Good for that.
It was a huge amount of money. I forgot how
Yeah,
much.
28 million, so they wanna get those, you gotta have a reason to have a bond. And no one could ever remonstrate against the county because they were just rolling over an existing bond.
So here's a question, what's up with the beacon plan?
I think they're whistling past the graveyard myself, I mean, they're raising money. And they're still getting commitments, but I think it's gonna be downscaled pretty dramatically. Wheeler just announced they were going for a $4 million capital.
Yeah, what are they doing? What is Wheeler doing? They're,
$4 million to build a bigger men's shelter and women's shelter. There's not a woman's shelter. And also my sister's closet just announced $2 to $4 million capital improvement.
And they're moving somewhere.
Did you
that's
see?
a good location where they're moving.
Do you know where they're moving?
Yeah, I do.
On the corner of,
Right across from Rockets,
yes,
convenience.
I saw the other
gas,
day, they had a
yeah.
sign. So it used to be the old window repair place.
Auto window.
It's on the north. It's on the northeast side.
Pretty
Yeah.
expensive real estate.
Yes,
And real estate is just staggering to me. I mean,
I was shocked that they had that much money, my sister's.
they did, they're having a multi-million dollar,
I don't think they have much money currently.
no,
They
they're,
always seem to get support though. I mean, it seems like there are people out there that
That's
support
true,
my
yeah.
sister's closet.
yeah,
I'm just surprised that they picked that warehouse looking building to move into.
Well, they can landscape it pretty nice.
Well, it's big. I mean, there's
It's
a
huge.
lot of space.
Yeah,
yeah, and we're on being recorded, so I won't.
Yeah.
Editorialize.
What do we have to do about this as a board? Is this just for information?
Nothing, this is for your information that when you hear that we're scattershot on the budget,
Uh-huh,
we're telling you ahead of time, we're gonna be scattershot on the budget because we just don't know.
yeah,
And when our annual report comes and you go, what is all these expenditures? We're telling you, we're spending,
Yeah.
I've been pretty frugal, I mean,
Right, that's why we need things like furniture and computers or those. You might as well get those fixed.
we're finishing out this office over here, whether I move into it or someone moves into it. We've got partitions now, it's big. And I mean, but I sit by the toilet and that just bothers me. I don't,
Yeah,
oh, you mean now?
yeah,
Yeah,
I don't wanna know when the employees go to the toilet.
yeah,
yeah.
And I sit by the air conditioner and just honestly with my age and stroke and everything, I cannot hear people and focus when that air conditioner is going. And, but the only thing is, I still don't like it when we get calls to repair. I mean, it just, wait a minute, don't you have some money, I mean?
you're talking about a community kitchen,
Well,
or not community kitchen, shelter.
shelter or even,
John's Wiley.
yeah,
Who?
Their apartments.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
the idea.
Area 10 apartments.
yeah.
Although Williams got them to agree to fork over a lot more cash in their operations than they were. He's got an operating agreement ready to sign. They're going over their last little bit. It's changed quite a bit. Where they won't just ignore things. And they've changed staff to where the people who ignored things are not there anymore.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's what we needed to do was tell you that. And also I needed to tell you that this. And, but Sharon's meetings and we've sat down and talked about the budget. But I just can't, I mean, I'm anal, Sharon's really anal on budget and finances. We just couldn't like spring this on you.
Well, I mean, I'm worried about the community service groups because I think we're gonna have to rethink.
That's
who
gonna
all-
be very awkward for, in that regard.
Yeah, I don't know how you wanna handle it, so that's why I haven't sent Brandon. And Brandon's gonna help me because we're gonna have to reword what I usually send to them, and Dan gave me wording to kind of let them know. We don't know what's gonna happen.
Anybody who's in charge of a social service agency should be following what's going on politically. I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody.
And I hope it's not.
But this seems like it was a total surprise to a lot of people.
It shouldn't have been.
No, I agree, I agree.
Yeah, and you read legislation and you read legislation, but Chris has been through lots of budget hearings and read lots of code. Have him read Senate Bill 1, the highlighted part, and see if he understands it.
Yeah,
Because
Uh,
to say that you get 0.02 of something, I can understand that. But they don't define what 0.02 is of. I mean, you get 0.02 of something that we're not gonna tell you what it
We
is.
don't know where it's coming from.
but you know, this is administration, and I don't,
It's,
they're not into details. They're-
and it's Dole. It's Dole in Indianapolis. You know, I mean, they came in and go, if Elon Musk can do it. And then they literally terrorized the house.
I think it was, I mean, this was just not an accident, this was done
Right.
very
Oh,
carefully
absolutely.
on purpose.
Well,
Well, I mean, I think they've been trying to do it for a long time. You know, it started with that one group that was, the one group that has been after township trustees for a long time,
Lafayette Urban Ministries and the Chamber of Commerce,
Chamber of Commerce.
State Chamber.
Chamber of Commerce. Do you remember how they did that years ago? The Chamber of Commerce came after us?
Yeah, when it came after Pat, cause she was my wife and,
Do you remember? You probably
I remember that part, yeah.
they,
But they wanted to get rid of townships, like that they were,
Yeah, yeah,
and they ended up grandfathering Pat, the legislature actually grandfathered her.
Remember
for
that.
their-
yeah,
And the other thing, Jack, that we're spending money on, and I'm talking Barb, after the tornado. Because we're the only ones that did anything, we're doing, what we should have done all along. I always talk to county council and commissioners after we go through this saying, we're not FEMA, we're not Homeland Security. You guys need to have a plan. And this time it just happened that Economy Inn was mostly our clients, or our demographic.
right,
And the duplexes across the street, there were 10 duplexes that were hit that didn't get any newspaper publicity. Out towards Sharon's house, there were 4 quadplexes that got hit, 2 of them just
they were
vaporized.
just demolished.
And these are all renters, and there's no programs to cover renters. And that's not what we do. We cover low income people. And nowhere in the legislation does it say disaster. So Steve Higgs, who used to be the reporter for the HT and was a professor for 20 years in journalism, he's already collected 10, 12 hours of oral interviews, everyone on staff that was part of it, because we had to organize and create a program over a weekend to house 20 households and get them out of the shelters. The shelter closed
In a couple days.
4 days after the tornado, the Red Cross shelter. And there were at least 15 Perry Township households in
Is
that
that
shelter.
normal for them to close that fast?
Well, they realized who it was. It's renters.
I see.
There's a bias out there. They,
15 of them were Perry,
15 families.
15 families.
yeah, households. And,
Yeah,
and I use households because it's a generic, you know, some of them were couples. And
Sure.
some of them were mothers and daughters. And they were all marginal, but the people across the street, those weren't shabby duplexes. They weren't Hyde Park, McCartney Lane.
But they were nice.
They were nice. Jess that worked for us, the African-American woman, lived there. And, nobody told us any of this, that those places had been hit. We had to go out and find them and tell people, we can,
I mean, Dan went out with his business cards and visited all the sites.
and tell them, we can get you under a roof. Nobody told them. And,
So not
so
only were they devastated by what happened, they just didn't know what to do.
we've got probably 45 pages, and Higgs is also writing an introduction, about 3,000 words. Interviews with all the employees and me, oral history debriefs of what we did. And what we see if it ever got worse. Cause we can't do it, we just were extended. We didn't shut down what we were doing, we couldn't shut down what we were doing. And, then, we got the transcripts, we got everything ready to go except Steve's story. We're gonna put it together, have it printed up and digital copy put on our website. We're gonna have multiple copies printed up, probably 50 to 60, and deliver them to every elected person, county that has money, United Way, board and directors,
Salvation Army needs.
Salvation Army, the legislators from Monroe County. It's a very good, it's a compelling read. Because it's oral history, but Steve gives you, this is what happened. And then the interviews are us saying, this is what it was like. And I mean, it's a compelling read.
It's just
Yeah.
interesting how other agencies, other townships didn't react.
At all.
I mean, at Van Buren Township, which is where I live, it was hit pretty hard. I mean, houses were just destroyed. And I asked them, how many people do you have and what's going on? And did you work over the weekend? Because our staff was here. No,
They didn't leave the building.
no, didn't know that that was like part of their job.
They went out to the cemeteries and checked the damage to cemeteries.
If their cemeteries were hurt.
But my point, why I wanna do it is, and I worked with David Henry through this. Because David and I have been talking about, if there's ever a big disaster, townships can't do it. If the water's edge, there's a big apartment complex now across from the, there's one across from the armory.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes,
If,
water's edge, yeah,
if that,
Water's edge with no water.
no water.
so there used to be a sewage lagoon there, if that got hit, they're not our demographic. Are we obligated to put them in hotels and take care of those people? Because that would be 130 households.
Well, David is very knowledgeable, of course, in disasters and that sort of thing, that's.
He says,
He's done
he says literally he stays awake now that he knows. Emergency management does not have anything to do with people.
Huh.
Brandon was at a meeting where they gave a report, and I actually include this little story in my debrief. Someone said, and they were going and they added in houses that Sharon, the quadplexes that Sharon told us were there. And they said, well, someone, not Brandon, said, well, have you talked to many people about how they reacted? And the answer was from the director, no, we don't talk to people.
Well, I thought they provided tarps
Provided tarps.
And totes.
and totes, tarps and totes.
And the one group that's responsible is called COAD, and it's a volunteer organization, and I can't critique them. They're all the agencies, Salvation Army, Red Cross, school system, they have no budget. And they have no facilities, and according to the county disaster plan, they are responsible for getting supplies to the
Department of Health, they have a disaster plan, but it's medical. But in their disaster plan, I remember that they knew how to set up buildings to get people, well, this was about flu and COVID, to get people injections. But they should be part of this too.
I'll give it to them.
They're on co-ed as well.
Okay.
And COAD, everyone there will get it, because, and I say, it's not their fault, they don't have a budget, how can you deliver services?
But we're not gonna have much of a budget either. it
No,
sounds like.
No.
we're not.
And every caseworker says two things, how did no one get killed? And if it was even slightly bigger, we couldn't have done it, I mean, and
It
we
was
got.
hectic. It was very hectic. It was
We
very
got-
loud.
The last household was just in last week. To get an apartment, because people left, they fled, and they put themselves in. Hotels and paid their own way, because even Economy Inn, they were used to paying rent by the week. So we got them out of there and said, save your money so you can get an apartment, because it costs a lot. And the people that paid their own way then ran out of money, and had no resources, so they ended up with us anyway. But with that household, that was 18 that we assisted. And no other agency in Monroe County helped a household. And that was 18 on top of our normal load, and we budget to have caseworkers that are busy with our normal load.
Right.
So this was all, we just invented what we did. And we came in on Saturday and Sunday. And Brandon, we sat down, how do we do this?
Yeah.
Amanda went to the Red Cross shelter with me on Sunday. And she started taking information and organizing those people to come in. A woman who'd been Red Cross for 20 years came over and just sat down, just kind of, and literally had her mouth open. And I said, can I help? Yeah, and she said, I've just never seen this before. And I said, you've never seen, I didn't know who she was, you've never seen a disaster shelter? She said, no, I've never seen a township and trustee in a disaster shelter in 20 years. And, well, welcome to Perry Township.
Well, the staff certainly needs commended for that. I mean, that was above and beyond, really.
They got a couple days off, and what amazes me, and we're gonna have to start this other meeting, but no, we don't. What amazes me is they don't get PTSD. That first day, people were crying.
Oh, they were crying.
You know, they were still
Yeah.
in shock. They were in the hotel when it blew apart. You know, they were in those duplexes when
Well, I mean,
How did nobody get hurt?
that's the amazing.
There is a, on Harmony where there's pals, and it was blown.
Oh,
apart.
Pal's back,
Yes.
yeah.
And they had the horses in it.
Yeah,
Right past that is a little, I would call it a trailer, not a mobile home, a trailer that they added like a room onto, like built a room. And I pass it all the time, and it was completely demolished. You could just see a few walls. And the only reason I know this story is because my husband helped move trees. There were 3 little girls in that. Their parents were on the phone with them when the tornado was coming and told them to get to an inside room.
Oh, my
And,
goodness.
I mean, when I drove by it, I do not know how they lived. I really don't, because there literally was just like walls, no enclosed walls. And that whole thing was blown away, metal everywhere, metal coming from pals, blowing over this, and the 3 little girls lived.
What about the horses? Were they okay?
I think there were only a couple that were injured. Now, and then my son was involved in that with tree removal because, the guy he works with, that he's related to them. So it's not PALS that's on South Rogers. I thought it was the same organization, the tree guy. Ellington. So I don't think it's Ellington, it's somebody else that owns that house, but I think only a couple of horses were injured
I think you're
and
right.
they lived, but
Yeah.
it was demolished.
Yeah, it wasn't life-threatening. But do you think lessons have been learned? Because this isn't good. I mean, this could happen again.
No, they haven't been learned, and that's why I want to circulate our
Yeah.
debrief, because I'm not gonna be here after 17 more months. And we're the only people that have ever put together an emergency response.
It's shocking.
And that's the whole point. But the other point is, the other thing, I want to engage. There used to be a speakers bureau where you could go and they would arrange for you to go to the service clubs or, people to speak.
It's almost.
I may have to actually pay like a marketing firm in Wilmington. I want to get to the service clubs and engage them
Do you have her number?
to get them to read what we produce. It's gonna be slick. We'll do it slick. I've done it before.
Yeah,
To get them to read the absolute lack of preparedness, because I even talk about my first experience was the county highway during the blizzard, and I was the assistant engineer on Snotty Road, and it took 5 days to come and get me so I could do highway stuff. When you're the assistant department head in the highway, and it takes them 5 days to come and get you.
That blizzard was crazy.
Well, yeah, but if it happened now, the grocery stores are gonna run out of food after a day, because what goes out the front door is coming in the back door. there's about 6 fewer grocery stores now than there were then. Because IGAs are gone,
Yeah,
you know, and they've all consolidated, Marsh are gone. And gas stations, there's not even any, you know, the gas stations around the county are all gone. IGA at Unionville's still there, not IGA, the service station, but I don't know any
I
others.
think the one in Harrodsburg is still there.
There's one in Harrodsburg, but you know, they got tanks. I told you, Barb, they had tanks. That's what I did, is people would call in, oh, my wife's getting ready to deliver, you know, and they wanted cigarettes.
Yeah, yeah,
My
well,
wife-
it's the same thing, isn't it? I mean,
And I had, that was my job. I, instead of being out with the highway department, I answered phones for a week trying to determine if this was real enough to pass on. So somebody would determine if the tanks would go get that woman and take her to the hospital.
Hmm.
And we don't have tanks anymore, Jack. They're not at the armory
Really.
and that kind of stuff. Pat and I have a room, it's chaos, but we got enough damn canned food in there to last forever.
So we're all coming to your house.
Pat says, I ain't eating that Spam. Pat, you will.
You really.
So,
Just to change the subject for a second, what was this estimate here for, Dan?
that's for the sidewalk,
Okay,
right?
do we need to do anything with this?
Just, can you
It's,
do a quick motion and recognize that I gave it to you?
It's the draining solution, that's the plan. Yeah.
It's the cost, it's the add-on, that's what. Do the sidewalk,
Yeah, so we're all looking at a bid here, an estimate for the sidewalk repair due to all the water damage and seepage and I'm okay with that. How about you?
Yeah, I think, yes, absolutely, yeah. The estimate is, what is the bottom line of the estimate?
22,435.
Okay,
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do that.
okay,
yeah.
thank you. And you can stay for this thing with the county highway.
Well, Dan, thanks for this. This was an eye opener. I mean, really.
It's been,
It's,
we started before the tornado and then got distracted. Hey,
And I should have asked Sharon, but how is this kind of going to affect her whole process? She seems to be okay with it.
no, she's not.
She's not, okay.
She's
Okay.
put on a brave face.
she's medicated.
Oh, let's close the meeting.
Yes.
Hey, it's,